This is Mystery Chaz Theater, episode, Gaiden? Question mark? Yeah, my writing is terrible, but my writing's horrible. That's because I'm using a tablet. Trying something a bit different today. I will be doing this solo, and, even worse, I did a script for it, because I would probably forget all the points that I was thinking of at the time when I did this. So, yeah. That's our episode for today. Actually, today's episode is, in fact, a bit of a topic I was having some thought on. And that is DLC, piracy, and used games. So, the, excuse me, I'm also partially sick today. No doubt you're all familiar with the anti-piracy practices, like online passes, DRMs, and the even more amusing giant pink scorpion of doom in Serious Sam 3. Though piracy is a problem, is it really a huge enough problem for companies like EA or Ubisoft to pull some of the methods they do onto their normal paying customers? And then we have stuff like used games, and how these companies have said that it ruins their profits, and it's just as bad as piracy. Are used games really cutting into the developers' profits this hard, or is it just a case of pure unadulterated greed? And finally, there is DLC. The idea of DLC is simple. When it came out, it allowed developers to make extra game content to be downloaded for a price or none at all, depending, so that players could get more from their games, or even to further add story elements or things that just didn't make it into the initial development cycle of the game. Because there have been times where developers like, you know what, we didn't have enough time or budget to implement everything that was in our vision. If only we had some kind of thing or way to put that content in post game, and DLC figuratively was the answer to this. So though it just kind of seems that these days DLC is more of another way to just bilk gamers up from their money. And even some DLCs are already being on the disc, rather than, stuff that wasn't in the disc already. There's also one specific problem in regards to EA with DLC and downloaded games from them and banning, but you've already heard the stories about that in previous Mr. Chaz Theaters, so I won't cover that so much. But anyway, let's get with the first part, and that is DLC. Straight over 9 there. DLC, which y'all know is downloadable content. And the initial idea with this, like I said, was that when DLC came out, the possibility for it was something like something that would pretty much extend the life of games. So, we have our little game here for your little CD game, and then it's developed, but there's missing pieces of it. So it's like, there's a little piece missing right here, and a little piece missing right here, because development and time just wouldn't allow for the game to be fully completed in the creator's mind. So we have a game that is complete, but it doesn't have all the stuff that was originally intentioned. And so this goes on to the stores. What? This is the worst drawings ever. I don't know what I was thinking with this. Alright, so games. So the games are made to store, but there's missing stuff, and you know, DLC would allow the developers to horrible people. That's horrible. No, I'm sorry. That's the most horrible stick figure ever imaginable. So we have the developers here, and they're like, "Oh hey, we can use deal. If only there was some way to put, you know, the content we couldn't put inside the games." So thus DLC was born, and through the power of DLC, added content. This probably isn't working out as much as I'd hoped it would. My writing is also pretty horrible. I don't think this is working. Anyways. So, I think I'll stick to the script in this one. Sorry, trying something new, and it didn't work as planned. I'm not a good fast drawer. I take my time. So, I'm not even following my own script either. So this would have meant a lot of great things for games. RPGs could get post-game DLC, you know, stuff that happens in the story after the heroes save the world, and you know, and other certain things, maybe side quests that tie up loose ends in the story that couldn't be put in during the initial development cycle. You're gonna hear me saying that a lot because that is what DLC was for. DLC was meant to be added content to your existed game after it was made. And the best method of this would be things that could not be shoved into the initial budget or timeline for making that game. Orange juice. So, yeah, RPGs will get a huge boost from DLC content. First-person shooters could have add-on campaigns, new weapons, levels, even game modes, or whatever. And puzzle games could get more brain-twisting puzzles or new ways to play the game. The list goes on. And so you're probably asking yourself, well, hey, we get those things already. And you're right, we do. But what have we actually seen in regards so far to DLC practices? Well, we have seen just about everything that I've listed here, but the problem is when the DLC gets released, and sometimes even where the DLC is. Day 1 DLC has been a pretty fucking annoying practice recently. No doubt you've heard companies spewing, hey, we're going to have DLC available the moment this game is released. And, no doubt, if you know what the purpose of DLC was, you would find this more than irritating, because, one, if it's Day 1 DLC, why isn't it already on the disc? Why is it even DLC in the first place? Again, I'm going back to the fact that DLC was very much meant to add extra content to the game, because it couldn't fit into the initial development cycle. It was not meant to be a wallet siphoning mechanism. Actually, it is, but in the wrong context here. It was not meant to bilk extra money out of gamers Day 1 when you purchase the game. Why? Why would you put out a DLC that we have to pay extra money for to use when you release your game that we're again paying for on Day 1? Shouldn't the content already be in the game? Because clearly you have made the content, it is already available for use in the game, so why is it not in the game? Why is it separate and an additional charge for this content on the first fucking day that you release the game? There is no reason, no viable reason why this has to be. It totally reeks of greed.